to have tears in her eyes, and she appears to be scratching at the glass. Now that house has come to be known as the Plague House, and the story goes back to the time of the plague. The family who lived there were naturally scared of catching the plague, and they would stay indoors as much as they possibly could. But they had a small daughter who they would send out to the markets to get provisions. Well, one night, the mother was tucking her small child into bed when she noticed that her daughter had developed large black boils beneath her eyes. She didn't say anything to the child except good night. And she went out of the bedroom, and that night she locked the bedroom door. She went downstairs to her husband, and together they decided that they would leave their home, that they would leave York, and that they would leave behind their only child. And that is what they did. But before they left, they painted a large red cross on the door to warn people that the building was infected. But no doubt the next day the small child awoke. She would have gone to her bedroom door, but she would have found it locked. And no doubt she would have called out for her mother, but there would have been no answer. And surely she came to the tiny window to get the attention of passers-by. And I'm sure that many people did see her, but they would also have noticed the red cross on the door, and no one would have dared to enter. So this child, who had been deserted by her own parents, left a prisoner in her own bedroom, was left to die in pain and all alone. She is the most frequently seen ghost in York, often seen up to 10 times a year. Sometimes at day, but more often at night. People see a small child with blonde hair crying and clawing at the window. Now, people go to the front of the house. They knock on the door and they say, "Don't you know there is something the matter with your daughter?" But the people who live there now can only say, "I'm sorry, but we have no children." It's a very sad story. I choose to tell it here out of respect for the people who live in that tiny house now. The people who live here, I hate. So we're going to move away from here shortly, and next tonight we will hear York's most famous ghost story. But there is one more thing I like to do with the group here every night. Everybody stand up.